Good evening.
Braden here, using active and stative English verbs.
In this lesson, you'll learn about action versus stative verbs and request for information.
This conversation takes place in the morning on the phone.
And it's between Sarah and Jeffrey Nye.
Sarah is inviting Mr. Jeffrey Nye to participate officially in the seminar, so the language is formal. Let's listen to the conversation.
I'm Sarah Walker, and I'm calling on behalf of the University of Indiana. I sent an email to Mr. Jeffrey Nye regarding an international seminar.
Yes, this is he.
Hello, sir. As I explained in my email, we're organizing an international seminar in March of next year, and we'd like to invite you to give a speech and to participate in 2 panel discussions.
Well, I'm interested, but I need more information.
What would you like to know?
Most of my concerns are about expenses.
Understandable. We will reimburse you for all expenses related to the seminar. Because of our own financial structure, we are unable to directly pay for plane tickets or hotel stays. However, remember to keep all receipts and deliver them to us upon your arrival. That way, we can invoice properly and you can receive your reimbursement.
Excellent. Could you please send me some documentation on previous seminars and whatever you have available for this seminar? That way, I will be able to prepare better.
Yes, sir. I will speak to our secretary and will have those sent to you by the end of the day.
Excellent.
Does this mean, sir, that you will be attending our seminar?
Yes, it does. Count me in. So let's talk a little bit about requests for information.
A request for information is a standard business process used to gather information. However, a request for information is specific in a few aspects.
The first is that a request for information is typically in a written format. And in larger companies that have specific suppliers and contracts, a request for information is probably a formal procedure with specialized wording and formatting.
A request for information, frequently referred to as an RFI, is often used as a starting point for communication with potential suppliers.
In the dialogue, Mr. Jeffrey Nye requested information from Sarah about the seminar. He said, "Could you please send me some documentation on previous seminars?"
While his request was not a formal written document as it is in some businesses, the idea is the same, and he requested formal documentation in return.
That's right. Okay, let's take a look at the vocabulary for this lesson. The first word we'll look at is
Behalf.
in the interests of another.
Behalf. Behalf.
Our second word is
Seminar.
a conference or other meeting.
Seminar. Seminar.
Our third word is
International.
existing, occurring, or carried on between 2 or more nations.
International. International.
Our next word is
Delegate.
a person who represents others in a conference.
Delegate. Delegate.
Our next word is
Speech.
a formal address or discourse.
Speech. Speech.
Next is
Panel.
a small group of people brought together to discuss a particular matter.
Panel. Panel.
Next is
Interested.
showing curiosity about something.
Interested. Interested.
Our next word is
Concerns.
a matter of interest or importance to someone.
Concerns. Concerns.
Next we have
Unable.
lacking capacity to do something.
Unable. Unable.
And our last word is
Documentation.
Material that provides official information or evidence or that serves as a record.
Documentation. Documentation.
Let's have a closer look at the usage for some of the words and phrases from this lesson.
In the dialogue, we heard the word documentation.
Documentation is defined as material that provides official information about a determined topic.
Notice that the material itself is not official, but the information that it provides is official.
For example, in the dialogue, he could have asked for more information about the seminar. This is a generic request for information. Many different types of information would qualify, such as websites, personal notes, or news articles covering the event.
However, by asking for documentation, Mr. Jeffrey Nye is requesting information that comes from the organization, in this case from the Department of International Relations, and more specifically, from the committee itself.
That's right. Could you break this down for us?
Documentation.
And one time fast.
Documentation.
Our next phrase is count me in. We point out this phrase because of the context. This phone call was, for the most part, very formal, but this phrase is actually quite casual.
It was formal because Sarah does not know Mr. Jeffrey Nye, and to be polite, they maintain a formal use of language.
At the end of the conversation, Mr. Nye agrees to participate in the seminar. Since, by agreeing, he has become part of the inner circle or a part of the committee's plans, he now feels he can speak in a more relaxed way. Could you break it down for us?
Count me in.
And one time fast.
Count me in.
Let's take a look at the grammar point.
The focus of this lesson is action versus stative verbs.
In the dialogue, we heard the phrase,
We're organizing an international seminar in March of next year.
Okay, so all verbs in English are classified as either stative or action verbs, sometimes also called dynamic verbs.
Action verbs describe actions we take or things that happen. Stative verbs refer to the way things are, their appearance, state of being, smell, etc.
The most important difference between stative and action verbs is that action verbs can be used in continuous tenses and stative verbs cannot be used in continuous tenses.
Here's an action verb example. She's studying math with Tom at the moment. Or, she studies math with Tom every Friday.
Some other examples are, they've been working since 7 o'clock this morning, or they worked for 2 hours yesterday afternoon.
Some stative verb examples would be, the flowers smell lovely. However, those flowers are smelling lovely is an action verb.
Some other examples would be, she heard him speak in Seattle yesterday afternoon, as compared to, she was hearing him speak in Seattle yesterday afternoon.
So let's take a look at some common stative verbs. There are many more action verbs than stative verbs.
Some of the most common stative verbs are be, hate, like, love, need, belong, believe, cost, get, impress, know, reach, recognize, taste, think, and understand.
Be aware that some stative verbs can be used as action verbs with different meanings.
For example, the verb to think can either express an opinion or the process of considering.
In the first case, when think expresses an opinion, it is stative.
For example, I think she should work harder on her math, or she thinks he is a fantastic singer.
Think, however, can also express the process of considering something. In this case, think is an action verb.
For example, they're thinking about buying a new house, and she's thinking of joining a health club.
Generally, stative verbs fall into 4 groups. The first group is verbs showing thought or opinion.
These would be verbs like know, believe, understand, and recognize.
The second group is verbs showing possession. These would be verbs like have, own, belong, and possess.
Third, we have verbs showing senses. For example, hear, smell, see, and feel.
Last, we have verbs showing emotion. These are verbs like love, hate, want, and need.
If you're unsure whether a verb is an action verb or a stative verb, ask yourself, does this verb tell some sort of process or a state?
If it tells a process, then the verb is an action verb. If it tells a state, the verb is a stative verb.
That just about does it for today.
Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye. I'm Sarah Walker, and I'm calling on behalf of the University of Indiana. I sent an email to Mr. Jeffrey Nye regarding an international seminar.
Yes, this is he.
Hello, sir. As I explained in my email, we're organizing an international seminar in March of next year, and we'd like to invite you to give a speech and to participate in 2 panel discussions.
Well, I'm interested, but I need more information.
What would you like to know?
Most of my concerns are about expenses.
Understandable. We will reimburse you for all expenses related to the seminar. Because of our own financial structure, we are unable to directly pay for plane tickets or hotel stays. However, remember to keep all receipts and deliver them to us upon your arrival. That way, we can invoice properly and you can receive your reimbursement.
Excellent. Could you please send me some documentation on previous seminars and whatever you have available for this seminar? That way, I will be able to prepare better.
Yes, sir. I will speak to our secretary and will have those sent to you by the end of the day.
Excellent.
Does this mean, sir, that you will be attending our seminar?
Yes, it does. Count me in.